Mirror to my higher self. Mirror to my higher self. Every time I heal, I rise a little higher. Every time I breathe, I feel a little lighter. If it's meant for me, it always finds me. Everything I want is already inside me. I don't chase, I attract, I relax, and it comes back. I choose love, I choose peace, and life chooses me. Nothing outside me controls my energy. The more I become me, the more life flows easily. How is it that everything works out for me? How is it that life feels so easy? How is it that I glow different lately? Mirror to my higher self is waking up in me. How is it that money flows around me? How is it that love surrounds me? How is it that miracles come so fast? Every day I become my higher self at last. Higher self. Yeah. Everybody mirrors me, so I choose differently. Every new belief changes my reality. When fear comes up, I let it melt away, 'cause the version I'm becoming already knows the way. I don't force, I align. Everything arrives on time. I trust life, I trust me, and it all comes naturally. My energy speaks before I say a thing. The more I love myself, the more life gives to me. How is it that everything works out for me? How is it that life feels so easy? How is it that I glow different lately? Mirror to my higher self is waking up in me. How is it that abundance keeps flowing? How is it that my light keeps growing? How is it that everything feels aligned? The highest version of me is finally arrived. I rise, I glow, I trust, I know. I rise, I glow, I trust, I know. Everything I want already knows me. Mirror to my higher self, show me who I came to be. Mirror to my higher self, lives inside of me. Yeah.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Badge Wife Campfire Conversations, presented by Afro-Caucasian. Grab yourself a coffee, tea, or whatever makes you comfortable, and come sit around the campfire with me. For anyone joining us for the first time, I'm Black Beth, the badge wife, storytelling, truth-seeking mother, grandmother, and badass woman who has spent decades close enough to policing to understand that there is always more to the story than what makes the headlines. Around this campfire, we talk about real people, real institutions, real experience, healing, resilience, relationship, and life. Straight up, not made up. Sometimes we agree, sometimes we don't. It doesn't matter. But we listen, we question, and we make room for different perspectives. Before we get started, do me a favor, like this episode, subscribe, or follow Afro-Caucasian and turn on your notifications because I don't want you to miss a conversation we're having. And please stay right to the end. Every episode has a bonus conversation, lesson, story, or voice that I chose because I believe it added another piece to whatever we're talking about around the campfire. And I want you to know something. Having you here matters, whether you're watching quietly, commenting, sharing your own story, or just listening because something brought you here today. You're part of this conversation. So settle in. This week, we're diving into a powerful guest conversation featuring Keir Gaines. He is a badass licensed therapist, mental health advocate, and speaker, and how his message on emotional readiness, healing, fatherhood, and mental wellness, oh my God, it connected to the heart of Black Beth. So I am inspired to repeat this conversation that was on the Mel Robbins podcast. Listen in to the very end. Don't miss an ounce. And I will always end with my bonus song. No perfect people, no perfect institutions, no pretending, just stories, perspectives, and the truth. Welcome to the Badge Wife Campfire Conversations. Let's get into it. All right. So today, my guest is, I'm bringing back Bredren Officer John. The fire is lit, straight up, not made up. Let's talk. That I knew that when the principal hired me, she only saw my color first.
Yeah.
Because my interview was only 20 minutes long.
Yep.
My interview was after I found the email saying that they needed somebody to fill the Black Excellency group.
Missing, yeah.
So I covered the child and youth worker, but for her, I also covered the race thing, right?
Yeah, and you're
so
female.
Because she also saw Black, right?
Yeah. No, and then yes.
Right, you get kind of get what I'm saying?
So they weren't,
then,
were they necessary? So you think it was an equity hire? Not knowing you're qualified. Do you think it was an
not
equity
knowing
hire?
I was qualified.
So do you think it was an equity hire?
It was
Or
definitely.
did it serve two purposes? It was an equity hire and they could use you to now cover this angle in the school.
They could use me to cover
Your Black history.
Yes, they could use me to cover it, but because I was hired to be a child and youth worker in the classroom, I was never supposed to be doing the Black stuff.
Oh,
too.
no, I get that.
So
no.
what happened was it was just a matter of, oh, your assignment is that you need to be in the classroom.
Yep, I know that.
And all of a sudden, the Black kids for 2 months were asking for a Black Excellency group. And then within 2 days of me being in the school, she says, hey, the Black kids want to ask you something.
Black kids.
And I was like, what? And then this is what was so funny.
You knew what she meant.
I knew what she meant.
That's perfect.
But then I said to myself, how did the Black kids want to talk to me when my only assignment is I'm in the other end of the school? The Black kids don't know I'm there.
Yeah.
So what was so...
How old are these kids?
Okay, so it would have been the grade 8. So how old are they in grade 8?
Oh no, so they're older. I thought it was, if it was like grade 1 and 2, I'd be the Black parents because the kids are like, I don't know what the fuck's
You're
going
right.
on.
But
I
this
get
is,
it, grade 8.
Okay,
Yes.
so they're grade 8, but this is what was so funny was when she asked me to, the Black kids wanted to talk to me. This is what was so stupid is that half of the kids didn't know why they were in the office. You remember? Half of the kids were there.
Yeah.
And I said, she goes,
Oh my God.
do you want to talk to them alone? And I said, huh, okay.
Oh,
and,
you're 90s kid.
Yeah.
You ain't used to this shit.
Right. And so what happens
alone.
was she leaves me alone with the Black kids. And I said to the boys, why are you here? And they go, I don't know. The teacher got a call and said,
Send the Black kids down.
the Black kids down.
Yeah.
And I was like, huh? And he goes, so I go, you're not asking for this group? And they're like, I don't even know what this is about.
I thought that was a little deep for them to ask for a Black Excellency.
Okay, but this is what was so
That's why I was
funny.
thinking parents, right?
No, this is
But
what
this
was
is
so funny.
school.
This was the
Yeah.
school because she calls me down to the office saying the kids want to talk to you. Now I'm alone with them, and I think she right away thinks they're just gonna ask me. She didn't expect me to question the kids, and so right away when I questioned the boys, they're like, I don't know. I have basketball.
Yeah,
I
they don't
remember
give a
they're like, I
fuck.
want to be like, no.
They're
I don't
like
wanna...
me. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing here?
Yeah, this is what's so funny.
What do I do? This is a
Then
trap.
this is what's even so funny was that the girls were the one that said, "Oh, we asked the principal because remember I was the only black face in the whole school now. We asked the principal that we're not getting any representation. Could we need to start a black excellency group?" And the principal was doing it. The white principal was doing it on her own for a couple weeks. And what happened there was she was doing it on her own for a couple weeks, and she emails the only black principal in the district and asks, "Hey, hey bro, I heard hey bro, I heard you running a black excellency group. Can you tell me how you're doing it?" Right?
These motherfuckers are trying to get promoted.
Right. So, but this is what's so stupid is she didn't even realize that she CC'd me on the emails. So I have the emails that go back. That's how come I can do this whole bro. Because remember I said I can create the stories.
That's what we need to start talking about.
That's why I can remember how I always say to you, you're like,
both.
I can tell you things and I can create the stories. So this is how the story
I
goes.
know the story, so it would actually
This is
interview
the
well
sim.
because I could like prompt in with a question.
Right. Okay, so this is how the story goes. It's just so cool. Ready? September, the kids asked for a black excellency group.
They said.
And the reason
Yes.
I know they asked for it.
Oh, okay.
Was the
I thought this was
emails.
them doing their thing again.
No. You got to go with the story,
Okay,
right?
gotcha. Yeah.
So the email train says that the kids asked the principal to do a black excellency group. The principal doesn't feel she's equipped to do it, but she knows she's got to start doing it.
Quick question.
Go.
So they said we want a black excellency group.
Right.
And she doesn't know what to fucking do.
Right.
So it never crossed her mind to get them, pull them in office and say, what does black excellency mean to you? How would you like to run this program?
Okay.
She just went, I don't fucking know.
Okay, well, this is what the thing was. You got to listen more to the story. Okay. What happened is from the email train, it said that the kids are asking for this group, and I don't feel equipped enough to be doing this group. I can even maybe pull in some of the parents to do it, help me do this group. But I know over at your school, you're doing something. Can you send me the information on how you're running your group? Right? But remember, she's the white principal. So she's basically going, can you give me the blueprint on how you guys are doing it over there? Because I want to do it. I need to do it over here. Because she also has a DEI budget.
Diversity, equity, inclusion.
Yeah, right.
Divide, exclude, and incite.
Okay, here we go. So this is what happens. Instead, she sees me on the screen because I apply for the child and youth worker. Exactly. And this is what was so funny about it.
Eh?
This is what was so funny was she said to me, two things. Remember, in the interview only lasted 20 minutes. And
that's pretty fucking quick considering you're in charge of children.
Right.
I went 20 minutes on who you are.
20 fucking minutes. And then this is what was so funny.
20 minutes?
20 fucking minutes.
And this is a vulnerable sector check because you're in charge of children.
Yeah. Okay, so
20 minutes.
Come along with me. 20 minutes the interview was. She added that I was one of the best interviews she's ever had.
Oh, yeah, for sure, man.
In that 20 minutes. And she asked me in that 20 minutes, can I send her the next stage to do my reference checks? But she did say, I do have somebody else that is interviewing for this, but they're not a child and youth worker. It's like somebody asking for an internal move.
Right, yeah.
Right? Like say an EA wants to be it, right?
Yeah.
But I was the only qualified.
Internal comes first.
Right.
And then...
Right. So I was like, oh, okay. If internal's supposed to come first, I'm an outsider, but I'm a black outsider. And my interview only lasted 20 minutes. So within that timeline,
Best interview in the history of fucking interview.
Right.
That's why it was the best interview.
And-
I didn't have to say
and-
anything.
But remember too this. Remember, like you said, I'm now going to be left alone with children, the most vulnerable ones, because I'm hired to be the child and youth worker in the social skills classroom, which is the most behavioral classroom in the school. And I now am having to be in charge of the black kids as well, who they said were having the most issues in the school.
You know what's fucked up?
Okay, so let me keep going. You gotta listen.
Just remind me to go back to your qualifications.
Okay,
and,
okay.
Because I'm going to compare it to what you did with CAS.
Okay, so now this is what the funny
Remind
part.
me.
This is what the funny part was. Was now going to be in the most vulnerable classroom behavior wise. The teachers had also said, because on day 2, a teacher came crying to me saying the issues she was having with the black kids. The teacher said that, an email went out saying that if you have any, like, she, again, doesn't even know my qualifications. Like, what do I feel comfortable with? How do I, I'm now counseling the teachers.
If she knew your qualifications, she wouldn't have fucked with you.
Exactly. But this
And
is
that
what,
was- I'm
but
glad I
this
could
is what
find-
the fucking part
I
was.
talked long.
Within the week, and this is where she's so fucked up, she literally sends the kids, the black kids, to her office to ask me if I can do a black excellency group. She has, that week as well, the kids were asking if, the teachers were saying that the problem they were having the most were with the black kids in the classroom, and they didn't know how to handle it correctly.
Handle it so they do better.
So, and an email went out saying that if you have any issues, she didn't even spell my name right. This is what's so fucked up. In the emails, no, she said in the thing, like, basically she said, if they have any issues with the black kids or we have child and youth worker in the classroom.
That's a real fuck up.
Yeah.
Because I could get the N for an R or 2 R's, but she gave 2 N's.
2 N's. Okay. Not even saying my name right. She sent out the email train. So then what ends up happening was I'm like, oh, fuck, is this how I'm being handled? You don't even know if I'm comfortable doing any of this, but you want me to do your black excellency group. The teachers are complaining that they're having the most issues with the black kids. You're now sending teachers to my classroom to ask me how to handle problems. And I'm on the email train that says, you don't know how to handle the black kids.
Younger.
Right.
Because what she doesn't realize she got is not only are you smart, you're in a time capsule. You're a 90s fucking.
I'm a 90s.
90s CAS in the house. Kid, and you're blunt and straight up, and you actually knew what their issues were, and you helped their issues.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If she was smart,
she
would have hired a dumber black woman,
right,
who would have been like, well, I'm not from the 90s. I'm from the 2000s.
Right.
I'm going to do DEI. Just pay me. I'm good.
Right. So this, okay. So
but they got a brain.
So this is what ends up happening. Okay.
And she's trying to climb the ladder.
Right.
That's why she's doing what she's doing.
Of course it is. Because this is what was so fucked up. Right.
Created that.
You want to hear the funniest things? And this is again along the same lines. So now that first week, because remember I said I'm in the area where the kids have the most behavioral issues. Yeah. So that first week, within my first week, because I think she this is what the funny thing was. She interviewed me on the wall. She interviewed me on the Wednesday and asked if I could start the Friday. And I'm like, you really fucking need
you know
me.
Your
20-minute interview. You want me to start in 48 hours and you don't even know what's going, my background, all of that. I said, you need to wait. You need to wait because remember we had the baby still. We were still babysitting. So I said, I will start on the Monday. And she's like, okay, thank you, blah, blah. Because is my reference. Did you just interview for a job? I go, yeah. She goes, they already called me. And I'm like, I only interviewed 20 minutes ago. She's like, no, they called your references, blah, blah, blah. So I start on day 1. So day 1, the black kids come to me. Day 2, an email goes out saying that if you have black problems. Day 3, the teacher comes crying. Yeah, the teacher comes crying to me.
But that's the best way to word it.
The teacher comes crying to me in the classroom, and I'm like, what's wrong? And she's like, can I talk to you? And I'm like, no, sure. I'm thinking,
you never said
did
no.
I know. I'm a story girl. And the teacher says to me, well, I got this kid, and she said, what did she say? She goes, he's giving me a hard time. And I go, is he a black kid? She goes, yes. And she goes, every time I try and say A, he pushes her boundaries. And I said, so this is what I said to her. I go, what does he do? She goes, well, I heard him talking to his friends, and he was using the N-word, remember? And I said, and she goes, so I called him out on it. And she goes, but then he said, I wasn't saying Nick Gurr. We were having a conversation about Nick Kerr, the basketball player. That's what I'm saying. He's very smart. But I said he got out of it. But she goes, I know what I heard. And the teacher's fucking bawling, right? At this point. And I'm like, I'm like literally having to hug her on day 3. And she's like, what do I do? And I go,
and in the 90s, you were the softie.
Okay, so this is what I said to her. She goes, what do I do? And I said, send him to come talk to me, right? And she goes, oh, you'll talk to him? I said, oh, yeah, I'll talk to him. So then but then I said this to the teacher. I go, oh, this was about another thing that was so funny. You know, when I was always working with kids, I would first have to read their background. Every person has a file. Everybody always has an origin story.
Come in cold.
So then this is what happens. The job that I was hired for, there was only 3 kids in that classroom, but they wanted me to work with the vulnerable black kids. I didn't even know their background. And I said, can I read their files? They said, no, because the only files you're allowed to read are the kids that you're in your classroom. So, okay, so now you want me to do a Black Excellency group with the kids that are having the most problems, and I can't read the files? And so I asked the teacher, I said, what's going on with him? I go, tell me what's going on with him. And she said something like,
it's top secret, man.
No, like it was one of these things where his dad killed his mom.
If you lean in and take to heart everything we're going to share, what I believe will change for you is the way you manage your stress, the way you manage your relationships, the way you manage the things that are happening in your life, because it'll go from just you reacting to things, just bouncing off of every single thing that's happening in your life like a pinball, just bing, 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 bing. It'll go from that to you moving with more intentionality, clarity, and way more awareness. You know, the world will have you believe that everything it falls into the category of this insatiable desire for hurry. You have to hurry up and do it. You're always in a rush. There's always another thing. There's always a to-do list to check off. No, sometimes the best thing you can do is to pause. And that's counterintuitive because we don't pause. I don't have time to pause. I don't have time to break. I don't have time to think about it. I just have to do. But when you pause, you're able to gain more control over what's going on with you. You're able to sit and just be. You're able to look at things from 1,000-mile view. When you're on the dance floor, Mel, it's hard to tell what's going on around you. You just see motion and bodies. But from the balcony, you get a different perspective. But you can't get that view and you can't get that perspective if you're constantly reactive. If you're not responding to things, if you're not accumulating any intel and information, if you don't have any wherewithal, if you're just on go. I get why you think you need to be on go all the time, but give me a chance to prove you wrong. Because I don't think that's the case, and I do not think that's beneficial for you. The world isn't really designed to support your peace and happiness. That's not how the world is designed. The world is designed for your productivity and for your attention, and that's it. It's meant to absorb your attention and churn productivity out of you. And works for the world. That's how we get buildings and how we have infrastructure and how we have all these beautiful creature comforts around us. Sucks for the individual, though. It zaps you of almost everything that you hold dear, everything that's warm and fuzzy about you. But if you just take a look at where we spend the majority of our time, social media, watching the news, being subject to marketing. Well, how do these things make you feel? What are they designed to do? Social media is designed to make you feel like you're behind. Marketing is designed to make you feel like you're being left out. The news is designed, I don't know what the news was originally designed for, but now it's designed to scare the hell out of you. This is billions and billions and billions of dollars engineered against your own wellness. And a lot of us don't even have a counter strategy. We have nothing to combat that whatsoever. So in my work, what I do and what I call an emotional readiness architecture, ERA, which is just a really sexy, fancy therapist way of saying your emotional fitness, how prepared you are to deal with the slings and arrows of life, how well you can traverse and navigate the things that are happening to you every single day. It's never too late to gain those tools. It's just a matter of how you go about doing it, what's your guidance and what's your instruction. That's why I'm such a fan of therapy. I don't know where you are, person who's listening to this. With therapy, you may think therapy is amazing. You may think therapy is okay, but you haven't found the right therapist. Trust me, I get it. Or you may think that therapy is complete BS, which I understand if you've had a bad experience. But that guidance piece is so important because it's hard to protect ourselves from messages that we don't have any control over. Again, when you open up your social media feed, you are being subjected to tens and millions of bad takes and half-chewed ideas, unsolicited and without your consent. And it's like you're drinking from a fire hose. If you drink from a water fountain, it quenches your thirst. If you drink from a fire hose, it breaks your teeth. And every single day, we're getting our teeth broken by opinions and views that we don't necessarily care for or jive with. How do you protect yourself? What do you have to secure your ability to move through guilt and shame and blame and to build self-awareness and to secure self-honesty? And I realized that there's a gap where people don't have that. And Mel, that's been my life's work.
Well, I loved what you said about emotional fitness.
Yeah.
And the reason why is some of the words that have been, like, first of all, I don't like the word mental health because I feel...
Oh, give it to me. Why do you don't like it?
I don't like it because it feels like there's something wrong with you.
That's the way a lot of people feel, actually.
You know what I mean? Like, if
Yeah.
we're talking about mental health, like there's something wrong with my brain and the way I think and depressed and anxiety and all this stuff that and I love the idea of emotional fitness because what I immediately think is strength. Because I'm constantly saying to my kids, it's not about mental health. Like, mental health means happiness. Don't you want that? Mental health means you can bounce back. Mental health means you're self-aware enough to know that something on the outside is getting on the inside. And it's time to this is about power. This isn't about like weakness. And so I love what you said about emotional fitness because I want that. I want that kind of strength. I want the ability to dodge the arrows that are being shot at me. I want the ability to be strategic and to be stronger, especially in the world today, and not so like reactive. I'm not talking numb. I'm just talking able to catch myself and strategically respond to what's happening versus constantly breaking my teeth from the fire hose. And you mentioned tools. And I know we're going to get into them, but can you preview a little bit about what you actually mean when you say there are tools that you can learn and skills that you can build that strengthen your emotional toughness, especially for a world that...
What you're heading towards is what a lot of people think about mental health, but I think we're moving towards more resilience. And resilience is one of the tools that you use within emotional fitness.
Now, resilience sounds kind of cushy. So how do you define? What does it mean if you are somebody that has built the skill of resilience?
It means that you're able to bounce back. It means that bad things happen to you, but bad things happen to you and. The bad thing that happened to you is not the punctuation on the sentence. You still have work to do. Things are hard. Things are hard and I'm sad and you're able to still move through. I'm a big football fan. I'm a huge football fan. And I don't know person who's listening. I don't know if you're a football fan, but just indulge me for a second, please. In football, there's a position called a running back, and I'm pretty sure this ain't gonna be my last football reference for today, so forgive me if you hate the sport. But when you're a running back, you're the person in the backfield who takes the ball,
Yep.
and you're supposed to run up the field and get a touchdown. That's your job. The problem is there are 300-pound dudes trying to kill you in between you and the touchdown. And sometimes one of these guys stops you, and you don't always immediately get tackled. But any good running back coach is going to tell you, even when you get stood up, even when you have 5 people piling on your back, you never stop chopping your feet. You never stop your feet from moving. You're always supposed to keep those feet going. That's resilience. Even when you hit the 300-pound obstacle, even when you can't see what the end zone is like, even when you feel hopeless, even when you feel down, even when you feel unsupported, you keep chopping your feet and progressively moving forward. But that takes self-honesty. You got to be honest about the circumstances that you're surrounded in. You got to be honest, not just about your strengths, but about your deficits too. And not allow that to sink you into a hole of self-deprecation where you only say negative things about yourself. No, everybody has strengths and weaknesses. What makes you immune to that? I'm not afraid of my weaknesses. I hold them tight. And then that allows me to say, Mel, I'm not very good at this thing. You think you can come in and help me with this? You think you could tell me what you did as opposed to me trying to just do it solo? That's how I keep my feet chopping. That's how I build resilience. That's one of thousands and thousands of tools that we use in order to make sure that our wellness is intact. I don't believe in myself as one of the uncomfortable truths that I talk about in the very beginning of the book. And what an uncomfortable truth is a part of our lived reality that we are afraid to accept. We either think it's some type of indictment on our strength and capabilities. We think that it's a statement that we lost, that we're waving the white flag. We try to avoid it at all costs. And we're very good at avoiding things. We have a lot of fancy psycho language now for avoidance. But the uncomfortable truth isn't something that you run from. It's something that you walk towards because you can't overcome something that you refuse to acknowledge is true. So with insecurities in my practice, I find that they come from a lot of different places. 2 consistent places that I find. Either one is some type of striving for perfection that you fall short of. By the way, perfection is not a thing. And even if you hit your idea of perfection now, it won't be your idea of perfection in 5 years. It's a frivolous journey. Or 2, it comes from a recent failure or some type of loss that you've taken that was significant to you. It was meaningful. But yeah, insecurities, the way that we walk out of them, one of the tools that I like to use are I'm statements. I'm sure you've heard a lot of times about I statements when you're having a disagreement with your partner. Instead of saying, you never wash the dishes, you say, I would like to have a house where the dishes are washed, and I don't feel like I have enough support in that, because you take the blame off of the person. You make the problem the problem. You don't make the person the problem. But these are I'm statements. And I'm statements, I am, really help you identify where the soil is the most fertile for your insecurities to grow. So I'm blank, or I'm always blank. Whatever's in that blank is going to be a good indication of where your roof is leaking. So if you say, I'm always finding a way, or are you saying, I'm always messing this up? Are you saying, I'm such a smart person, or I'm such a dummy? That's going to tell you where your internal dialogue is and where some of those leaks are coming from, because you don't always find your insecurities. Sometimes your insecurities find you.
Okay.
And that's the absurdity of insecurity sometimes. Going back to what I originally said, the insecurities come from 2 things. One, a recent failure, and this is me catastrophizing. I suck at that word. Fixes. What else can this problem be attributed to that isn't necessarily something that I did? And also, you have to understand that blame, it grabs all of our awareness. It is a brilliant awareness grabber, but it's not helpful. It's not a helpful tool in your relationship. It's not a helpful tool in your self-messaging. Blame is not helpful. accountability is helpful because accountability says these things are my responsibility and I'm going to be empowered to actually do something about it. Blame is just looking for somebody to pin it all on. And it makes you feel better a little bit in the short term, sure, but in the long term, what does it accomplish? What does it change? What does it transform? One thing that I need you to understand is that in a boy's maturation, and I said this before in an interview.
What is maturation? That's a big word.
Maturation. So maturation is just a state of your maturity as you were growing up, as in your upbringing, in your development, as you were becoming a full person. Every single stop along the way is designed to separate you from your emotions. And I already said it. You're really, really good at the things that you practice. So when you are a little teeny boy and you cry and you just want your mom to pick you up and hug you, somebody's probably going to say, hey, stop holding that boy like that. You're going to make him soft, separating you from your emotions. When you become a little kid and you fall off of your bike and you cry because your knee hurts, it's bleeding, somebody's going to tell you, hey, get up, get back on that bike, stop crying. When you become a young man, when you're a teenager and the person you love broke up with you, they say, hey, it's other fish in the sea. What you crying over another person for? Why are you crying? And then you get married or you have a long-term partner and you begin to express your displeasure or you begin to express your frustration or they say something that's hurtful or inflammatory or just makes you not feel very good. And they say, what do you, this is a new word they use, sassy. Oh, now you're being a sassy man. What are you, in your feelings? And all of these are designed to separate you from your emotions. And what happens is your internal sense of being gets thrown off and off whack, where now you can't access those emotions when you need to. And then you don't have the ability to know the complexity of what you feel. So like there'll be an emotion that happens and you'll be angry. There'll be something that happens to evoke an angry emotion. And most people say anger is a secondary emotion. I think it's a primary emotion.
What does that even mean, secondary, primary?
Secondary emotion is just, it's secondary. When they say anger is a secondary emotion, what they're saying is there's something under the anger that's causing the anger, which is true, but I have a different interpretation.
Tell me.
I think it's primary, which means it comes first. The anger is the first feeling that you feel. But when you sit with that anger for a little bit and you realize what else may be attached to it, you realize that you're angry because you're disappointed. Oh, so you're not just angry, bro, you're also disappointed. And that disappointment is what we call a secondary emotion, which is the second emotion. Why are you disappointed? And then when you sit with that disappointment and you process it enough, you feel disappointed because you feel hopeless. Oh, so you feel hopeless. And you're trying to solve for anger, but what you really feel is also hopelessness. If you have a migraine, I don't think allergy medicine is going to fix that. So now you have a prescription for a feeling that's not working and you remain angry. And when you're angry out in the world, anger does multiple things. It gets attention because I know men have all the power in the world. Absolutely. I get it. All the power in society and infrastructure. Patriarchy is a real thing. But in men's individual lives, men don't feel powerful. They don't feel powerful. So what happens is when you get angry, you get attention. You can regain some of your power and control, but it's at the expense of your relationships. So if you don't hear anything else I say, just know that men have been designed to rebrand their emotions into something that's way more palatable socially. Way more acceptable socially. It's a man being sad. Like, who cares? Cry me a river, build a bridge, and get over it. You have all the power. Who cares? But that sadness permeates not only into your family, but into the deepest parts of your life and your being. And if you don't have enough practice accepting that sadness without making yourself feel bad about it, you won't know how to fix and solve it. You won't know what medicine to take in order to remedy the wound. The manliest thing you can do isn't to ignore your emotions. That's been the motif for like the past 30, 40 years. I get it. Maybe when we were out west and the Marlboro Man was a thing and you lose your kid to some type of illness at the age of 5 when life was hard on the frontier. Maybe that was true. We live in a different society. I have a phone and I can get a sandwich right now if I want it. I can listen to whatever song I want. I don't even eat fish with a head on it anymore because I don't have to, okay? We're not those people anymore. That time is done. And we need to adapt with the time. And I think just masculinity is having a really tough time adapting, but you don't have to. And instead of rebranding and avoiding your feelings, actually understanding them and having words to them and controlling them is how you become, as my mentor Jason Wilson says, a comprehensive man. It is, and it's also important that women understand that men are not women's problems to solve.
We'll come
But-
back to that.
Yeah, it's a whole nother thing. I believe that underneath everything is a sense of fear. And it's a sense of fear that doesn't have the faculties or like the momentum, the understanding, the touch points, the amount of the fingers on it. That fear doesn't have a place to go and doesn't have a place to be processed. It doesn't have a safe place to be expressed. And I typically say there's two types of men. There are men who are afraid and there are men who are terrified of being afraid.
What's the difference?
The men who are terrified of being afraid put up a bigger front. That's where we get the machismo. That's where we get a lot of red pill content. That's where we get a lot of men not indulging in masculinity or not executing masculinity, but performing it. And when you perform something, it's not authentic. It's not authentic to who you are. It's not going to be helpful to the people around you in the same capacity. It's a performance. And I would love if we just take a step back from performing and focus on actually being. Be the thing. Don't perform it. Be the thing. But to be the thing is a lot harder than to perform it. Because you could put up a facade. I can lie to you. I can act tough like I'm 1,000,000 feet tall in this interview. And then I go cry in the car. What is the point of being having all of these social wins and being some big giant socially, but being a personal failure? What matters most to you? Is it how you appear in the world to everyone else or how you appear to yourself in the quiet moments? Because that's who you really are. Let's do it. How about this? Let's do a heavy lift and a light lift.
Great.
Because everybody ain't in the same place with
No
this.
kidding.
Different readiness. All right. So let's do light lift first. I want you to pick up the phone. I want you to call a friend that you have not talked to in more than 2 weeks. You don't have to have something to talk about. There might be some weirdness because you feel like you have to have a meeting agenda. I want you to call them. I don't want you to talk about business. I don't want you to talk about work. I want you to just talk about yourselves. It could be a 3-minute phone call, but I want you to pick up the phone and just tap in. And if you need a template for
Yes.
something to say,
People.
hey, no problem. And that's one of the points. That's why I feel so empty, because we need those real life touch points. Hey, bro, I haven't heard your voice in a while, or I haven't heard from you in a minute, man. I was just thinking about you, bro. Just calling to check up. How you been? And they may hit you with something. Oh man, men love to hit you with the I can't complain. Push it a little bit.
What do
You
I say?
can't- Instead of saying, when they say you can't complain, what's been going on good in your life? What's good in your life right now? What are you excited about? What's coming up next for you? And then that's how you start the conversation. You share a little bit about yourself. Then, bro, you can get the hell off the phone if you're not comfortable. That's the light lift. Call somebody and check in on them. Heavier lift. Schedule breakfast with one of your bros. Go out to breakfast or go out to
Breakfast?
lunch.
Why
Yeah.
breakfast?
Because one of the problems with therapy is it's not really oriented the way that men externalize and talk about their problems. Men don't even have face-to-face conversations. We prefer shoulder to shoulder. And a lot of my therapy sessions, we toss the football back and forth because it's easy to do something. It's easier to talk about something that's hard when you're doing something that's easy and physical. We toss the football back and forth, or we toss the ball back and forth. We might play Connect Four. With my female clients, we can just go sit down and boom, we're off to the races. We're having a great session. With men, it's a lot harder to kind of get that pump primed. So breakfast is talking over food takes away a lot of the angst and awkwardness of having a face-to-face conversation. It also allows you to share space without words. Some people feel awkward when there are pauses in the conversation, but when you stuffing your face full of cheese fries, it takes away the awkwardness. It's giving yourself a lower barrier to entry. It's bringing that branch down to pick the fruit off. It's making it easy, low-hanging fruit. Go out to breakfast. You cannot want something for someone more than they want it for themselves. If you do, when the novelty or the newness or the excitement of this change wears off, you will be stuck holding all the baggage. And in our society, and this is something I didn't know about women until I became a therapist and started having a lot of female clients. In our society, women are praised and rewarded for overfunctioning.
What does that mean?
Overfunctioning is when you do way more than what's necessary in order to meet the goal. And we will clap women out of the building for overfunctioning to their own detriment. And a lot of times we don't have a mechanism that says, hey, I'm going to take some of this off of you because it's too much. And you get good at the things you practice. When you are a woman especially in Western civilization, if you are a woman who's practicing taking on too much, your button that tells you, hey, your bucket is not only full, but it's overflowing and flooding your apartment, that button gets broken. So now you are a person holding everybody else's stuff. And a romantic relationship doesn't work when you are taking an inordinate or an unfair amount of the stuff, putting it on your back. It's supposed to be equity there. You all are supposed to take and give from each other. But when you make it your responsibility to take, and then you don't have that mechanism that says, hey, I'm going to give you a little bit of this because it's too much, or you don't have a partner that you trust to accept the thing that you're going to give them that's too much, it bogs you down. My goodness, you have to really value what you think about yourself. You have to really value what you think about yourself more than what other people think about you, which is tough because society isn't really built that way. Society, there's nothing wrong with caring what other people think. There's nothing wrong with that. That in and of itself is not a problem. But when you care what other people think to the elimination of being cognizant, aware of, and deeply caring of what you think and how you present and what you want, then it becomes an issue because other people's opinions begin to override yours. And one of the ways that you do that is, a lot of people aren't going to like this. You have to spend time with yourself by yourself.
You're right. I don't like that.
I told you weren't going to like it. I told you. You have to spend time with yourself by yourself. Read a book. Like you have to do the things. We think that proving it is only for other people. No, you got to prove it to yourself too. How can you prove to yourself that you are the person that you A, want to be, and B, the person that you say you are? But you got to take those small steps. Be undistracted. That's another one. When's the last time that you weren't on your cell phone? When's the last time that you took a flight and you didn't use your cell phone or headphones or distracted yourself with some type of media and you just allowed your thoughts to exist? What do you do in the morning? Do you wake up and just sit in silence? When's the last time you didn't feel the need to fill space with words? How are you giving yourself an opportunity to even hear yourself think? Undistracted. That's how we get to know ourselves better. That's how we make sure that we are in tune with a version of ourselves that's updated software, not the shadow of who we were 10 or 15 years ago. To believe the things that are going on in your mind, it's well-dressed wishful thinking.
You know, I think one thing that's really like revolutionary, at least it was to me, is, when I was in my 40s, I was miserable. For a lot of my life, I was miserable.
Talk about it.
Oh, my God. I talk about it a lot. But for my 40s in particular, we were struggling financially. I was such a jealous bitch. I was not the kind of person that...
First things first, I think that's a brave thing to admit, that you could sit and be present with who you were in the moment and not like that version of yourself. Self-love and self-honesty are two things that I talk about a lot. And I think you need that in order to make the change. There's two versions of us. There's this ideal self, which is who we ultimately want to be. And then there's this actual self, which is like, it's who we are. If you can get closer to accepting who you actually are And learning that the person who you ideally would like to be is just a fictitious character in your mind that you don't have to aspire to. I think that's a great way to start to pull some self-honesty. If you can see yourself reacting to something that's not the way that you would like to ideally, I think stopping and saying it out loud, you know what? I don't like the way I reacted to that, and choosing to move in a different direction. I think that's doing some of the pre-work. I like to ask people that I know, love, and trust, what do you see when you see me? What do you see? How do I usually react to this thing? And I listen to them, and it does not feel good because sometimes they keep it a little too real. Sometimes it burns, but it's valuable information because I wouldn't be able to see that by myself. Anxiety is a beast because anxious feelings, with anxiety and depression, usually where there's smoke, there's fire. Where there's one, there's usually the other. That's just how it goes. Or there's typically the other. So with anxiety, you have to understand that it attaches a narrative to your thoughts. It's your brain trying to predict what's happening next without enough information. So it makes you feel terrible. And it's a constant, it compromises the way that you feel. And depression is a mood disorder. It's going to distort the way that you're oriented to your own feelings or oriented to the world around you. So you're a little compromised in a moment. You're not bad, you're not broken. You're just a little compromised. And when you're not working at 100% efficiency, it's hard to have the goal to complete 100% efficient tasks. So you got to shrink your expectations to meet the moment.
Okay.
We live in a society where thriving is typically the goal. The goal is to thrive. You're supposed to get out here and be the best that you can be. But with anxiety and depression, sometimes the goal isn't to thrive. It's to survive the moment. A lot of times in session, people think of doing well as getting on a scale of 1 to 10 from a 2 to a 5, from a 5 to an 8, from an 8 to a 10. That's amazing. With depression and anxiety, sometimes we're trying to get back to 0. And a win when you have depression, sometimes is getting from a -5 to a -4. That's a win because we're trying to get back to 0. We're trying to get back to baseline. Sometimes with depression and anxiety, a win is when you go from -5 and you slide to -6. A win is being able to not slide down to -8. You understand what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying.
It's stopping the slide. It's a very difficult way to live your life when you have an idealistic, you have a very idealistic viewpoint of what it is that you're supposed to do and what it is that you're supposed to accomplish. You just have to survive the moment. Let's survive the moment. Once we get past this, is this the best we can do? What's possible for us today? Can we get some sunlight today? Can we get some food in our system? Do we feel like being a part of community, calling a friend and having somebody sit with us? Do we need a little bit of solitude right now? Because solitude is not isolation, and sometimes solitude is medicine. Are we ashamed of the way that we appear? We don't want people to see us? Do we need to feel love? Do we need to feel understood? That's step 1. Step 2 is how do we go about getting that? Do we have the energy to get it? Not tomorrow. Let's not worry about tomorrow. Right now. Can we survive the moment right now? Can we get that for ourselves? That's a win. Shrink the expectations in order to meet the moment.
Mirror to my higher self. Every time I heal, I rise a little higher. Every time I breathe, I feel a little lighter. If it's meant for me, it always finds me. Everything I want is already inside me. I don't chase, I attract, I relax, and it comes back. I choose love, I choose peace, and life chooses me. Nothing outside me controls my energy. The more I become me, the more life flows easily. How is it that everything works out for me? How is it that life feels so easy? How is it that I glow different lately? Mirror to my higher self is waking up in me. How is it that money flows around me? How is it that love surrounds me? How is it that miracles come so fast? Every day I become my highest self at last. Highest self. Yeah. Everybody mirrors me, so I choose differently. Every new belief changes my reality. When When fear comes up, I let it melt away, 'cause the version I'm becoming already knows the way. I don't force, I align, everything arrives on time. I trust life, I trust me, and it all comes naturally. My energy speaks before I say a thing. The more I love myself, the more life gives to me. How is it that everything works out for me? How is it that life feels so easy? How is it that I glow different lately? Mirror to my higher self is waking up in me. How is it that abundance keeps flowing? How is it that my light keeps growing? How is it that everything feels aligned? The highest version of me is finally arrived. I rise, I glow, I trust, I know. I rise, I glow, I trust, I know. Everything I want already knows me. Mirror to my higher self, show me who I came to be. Mirror to my higher self, lives inside of me. Yeah. Mirror to my higher self, show me who I came to be. Mirror to my higher self, lives inside of me. Every time I heal, I rise a little higher. Every time I breathe, I feel a little lighter. If it's meant for me, it always finds me. Everything I want is already inside me. I don't chase, I attract, I relax and it comes back. I choose love, I choose peace, and life chooses me. But then outside me controls my energy. The more I become me, the more life flows easily. How is it that everything works out for me? How is it that life feels so easy? How is it that I glow different lately? Mirror to my higher self is waking up in me. How is it that money flows around me? How is it that love surrounds me? How is it that miracles come so fast? Every day I become my highest self at last. Ooh, higher self. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Everybody mirrors me, so I choose differently. Every new belief changes my reality. When fear comes up, I let it melt away, 'cause the version I'm becoming already knows the way. I don't force, I align, everything arrives on time. I trust life, I trust me, and it all comes naturally. My energy speaks before I say a thing. The more I love myself, the more life gives to me. How is it that everything works out for me? How is it that? How is it that life feels so easy? How is yourself. Yeah, yeah. Everybody mirrors me, so I choose differently. Every new belief changes my reality. When fear comes, I let it melt away. Cause the version I'm becoming already knows the way